Today I will be showing you guys my 2020 NBA mock draft 1.0 after the NBA finals, so it's updated. So now let's get right into pick number 1. So for the first pick, the Timberwolves select Anthony Edwards. So the reason that the Timberwolves would select Anthony Edwards at the number 1 pick would be that he's a great fit, at least in my opinion. He's a great fit alongside D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. That is a great young core. And in future years, this team can really go far in the playoffs with this young core and this great big three, or kind of like a big three, because D'Lo, Cat, and Anthony Edwards would definitely be a hyped up squad. So once again, the number 1 pick is made by the Minnesota Timberwolves as they select Anthony Edwards. So now let's hop into pick number 2. So for pick number 2, the Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman. So first of all, if you guys don't for some reason think that the Warriors will select James Wiseman in the 2020 NBA draft, here are some reports that came out recently about James Wiseman and the Warriors situation. So those reports are basically saying that if the Warriors do not trade the number 2 overall pick, their likely selection is James Wiseman. And this totally makes sense because Wiseman is a great center that the Warriors need, because they don't have a great center at the front court for them. So I think adding James Wiseman alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as well as Draymond Green would be a very nice contending squad. And I think Wiseman is a ready to win now type of player. So I think adding him to the Warriors roster would really help them a lot and boost their playoff hopes and chances in competing for a possible title. So now let's hop into number 3. So with the 3rd pick, the Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball. So the reason that the Hornets should take LaMelo Ball with their 3rd pick in the 2020 NBA draft is because LaMelo Ball is a hyped around player for the first part, and he's going to get them a ton of fans and a ton of extra tickets and a ton of sold out games because of LaMelo Ball and his fan base, obviously. So I think that is really important for the Charlotte Hornets in order for people to start watching their games. And with this pick, they're taking the best player available with their number 3 pick in LaMelo Ball in terms of talent. So I think that's what they should go for. They should go for best player available instead of going for a position need type of player. So I think adding LaMelo Ball would really hype up the Hornets, and I think us NBA fans would definitely enjoy watching the Hornets basketball games again if they somehow select LaMelo Ball and do not trade their number 3rd overall pick. For the number 4th pick, the Chicago Bulls select Deni Avdija. So the reason that the Chicago Bulls would select Deni Avdija is his potential to be a great all-star type of player in the NBA if he develops to his full potential, meaning if he gets the best of his offense and defense. And I believe that Deni Avdija would be a great player on the Chicago Bulls to add alongside Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Wendell Carter Jr., and all those other guys and all those young guys. To have another bright piece in their young core is definitely an option I'd really consider. I like the fit with Avdija since he's basically a good small forward that can fit with a point guard like Kobe White, a shooting guard like LaVine, a small forward with obviously being Avdija, a power forward of Markkanen, and a center of Wendell Carter Jr. I like the offense and I like the defense because of Wendell Carter's defensive abilities. The offense is with Lauri Markkanen's, Zach LaVine's, Kobe White's, and Deni Avdija's to make great plays on the offensive side. So once again, I have the Bulls selecting Deni Avdija as their number 4th overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. So now let's move on to number 5. So with the 5th pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Onyeka Okongwu. So the reason that the Cavaliers would select Onyeka Okongwu is that he's a very explosive type of player. He's a great defensive player, great rebounder, great shot blocker. He's a great finisher with using his athleticism, and he's also good on running the floor on offense. So I think the Cavaliers would definitely need that type of player, that caliber player that can be a superstar type of player in the future if he develops his offensive game to the next level. by being a stretch 5 as well. So I think if he masters his abilities, he would really be a great fit for the Cavaliers since he's a center, very versatile. So I think that the Cavaliers need that, and they're probably anyways going to move on from Kevin Love and probably also from Andre Drummond. So having a long-term type of center like Okongwu that can help you win games in the future would really be a great idea for the Cavaliers going into the 2020 NBA draft. And a combination of Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, and Okongwu would really be a good idea, and I like that front court and back court, and possibly adding some more players to fill it in would be a great idea for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So drafting Okongwu is the number 5th pick for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So with the 6th pick, I have the Atlanta Hawks selecting Tyrese Haliburton. So I think that drafting Tyrese Haliburton for the Atlanta Hawks would be a great fit in the backcourt alongside Trae Young, because I think Tyrese Haliburton is a great combo guard that can really help space the floor for Trae Young. And I'd actually compare this a little bit to the Cavs situation with their point guards, with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. So in this situation, I put Darius Garland as Trae Young, the kind of like the deep 3-point shooter, you know what I'm saying, and then the facilitator as well, with Trae Young and Garland being compared to each other. And Colin Sexton to Tyrese Haliburton can just be the combo guard that can help take off the pressure from the main point guard in like a Trae Young or Darius Garland. So a projected starting lineup for the Atlanta Hawks would be Trae Young at the point guard spot, Tyrese Haliburton at the shooting guard spot, DeAndre Hunter as the small forward, the power forward being John Collins, and the center possibly being Clint Capella. So I actually really like that lineup for the future and for the future years. I think that lineup can develop really well and be a deadly type of lineup in the future. So now let's hop into pick number 7. So with the 7th overall pick, I have the Pistons selecting Killian Hayes. So I think this is a very expected pick for the Pistons, because they're definitely going to be on the lookout for a point guard, since they're probably going to get rid of Derrick Rose by trade, and rumors have came out that the Lakers are significantly interested in Derrick Rose, which means that the Pistons definitely need to fix up their point guard situation. And to have a backcourt with Killian Hayes and Luke Kennard, I think is an actually pretty nice backcourt, and that can develop really well in the future. So now let's hop into pick number 8. So with the number 8th pick, the New York Knicks would select Isaac Okoro. So you guys might be thinking, what's the point guard solution for the New York Knicks if they do not draft a point guard with pick number 8? So I have them obviously taking Isaac Okoro at pick number 8, which is a small forward, a great defensive-minded small forward. And I think he'd fit really well with Coach Thibodeau and his defensive-minded coaching style. So you guys might be thinking, what's the case with the point guard solution for the New York Knicks? So I think the way the New York Knicks would still get a great point guard would be with either free agency or trading for a player like a Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul, which a lot of you Knicks fans as well as me might be kind of hesitant to do because of both of their ages and salaries, huge salaries. But maybe the Knicks actually have a plan. And speaking of the Knicks plan, a video on the Knicks off-season plan for 2020 and 2021 will come out really soon on the channel, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned by hitting the post notifications. So a team of a Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul, CP3, with a shooting guard of RJ Barrett, a small forward of a defensive-minded player in Isaac Okoro, a power forward in probably a Julius Randle. I mean, I would not like that, but still not the worst situation. Maybe they can go in 2021 and somehow attract Anthony Davis and sign him with Leon Rose. Possible connection type of ways in making that stuff happen, since I'm sure that's his goal to do with the New York Knicks, and he has been a player agent so before he's got the president job with the Knicks. So I think that's his specialty, and I think he's good at attracting stars. He's a very well-respected player agent out there. So I think players definitely might consider the Knicks with his capabilities and him making the Knicks a great playoff type of team in the future again. So maybe the Knicks can somehow attract and lure Anthony Davis in 2021 to possibly be their power forward of the future, and then obviously the center being Mitchell Robinson. So I think that's actually a really good team to compete for the future. So let me know what you guys think of this Knicks selection in Isaac Okoro. So now let's hop into pick number 9. So with the number 9th overall pick, I believe that the Wizards would get a steal in the draft in Obi Toppin. The reason I think that is because Toppin is a really good offensive type of player that is really explosive and that can really hype up some games for the Wizards, and a great front court addition to the Wizards core in Bradley Beal, John Wall, and even Thomas Bryant. So now let's hop into pick number 10. And with the 10th pick, the Phoenix Suns select their future point guard in Kira Lewis Jr. So the reason I think that this would be a good selection with the 10th pick for the Phoenix Suns is because adding a quick and dynamic player like Kira Lewis, and to add him alongside Devin Booker, that will be a very fun squad to watch. And I like the offensive side of it with Kira Lewis Jr. and Devin Booker, as well as obviously DeAndre Ayton to help out on offense and defense. And there's also obviously Kelly Oubre Jr. that could help out on the offensive side with the floor spacing. So I really like the floor spacing for the Suns team with Lewis Jr. on the team. And Lewis Jr. is a very quick point guard, and I like his dynamicness and explosiveness. So to add him up with Devin Booker, I really like that fit. And now let's hop into team and pick number 11. So with the 11th pick, the San Antonio Spurs will be picking Patrick Williams. With the number 12th pick, the Sacramento Kings select Devin Vassell. So I think an intriguing team would look like De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Devin Vassell obviously, and Marvin Bagley. Richaun Holmes, who's actually been a great player for the Sacramento Kings this past 2019-2020 season. He's actually been playing really well for the Kings. So that will be a very intriguing starting five, and that also has a great chance at being a great team in the future and developing the right way with Devin Vassell and to maximizing his potential with the Sacramento Kings. So now let's hop into pick number 13. So with the 13th pick, I have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting Aaron Nesmith. So adding Nesmith to the Pelicans roster would definitely improve their shooting and their floor spacing on the roster on offense. So I think adding Nesmith exactly does that. So I think adding a shooter like that for the long-term future, another young player in Nesmith who can develop into a great elite type of shooter for the Pelicans, would really be a nice addition to their roster. So now let's hop into pick number 14. So with the 14th pick, I have the Boston Celtics selecting Precious Achiuwa. So since the Boston Celtics have kind of been struggling with their center spot recently, with Enes Kanter, Daniel Theis, and those type of guys, I think adding a young player like Precious Achiuwa would help them out, being like a backup big, nothing crazy, nothing like a starter for now. But maybe in the future, if he develops well, he's a pure type of big, very energetic type of big. He's going to dunk on you if he wants to, you know what I'm saying? He's going to play some good defense. He's going to be a good rebounder. So I think adding a pure big like that for the Boston Celtics, that is a very energetic big. He's also strong and he has a very good frame. And I really think that would solve some problems for the Celtics in terms of the center position and for him to play backup minutes and bench minutes. So I think having a bench player like Precious Achiuwa for now in these future years would be a good idea for the Celtics in terms of depth. So now let's hop into pick number 15. So with the 15th pick, I have the Orlando Magic selecting Tyrell Terry. So with the 16th pick, I have the Portland Trailblazers selecting Saddiq Bey. With the 17th pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Josh Green. With the 18th pick, the Dallas Mavericks select Jaden McDaniels. And with the 19th pick, the Brooklyn Nets select R.J. Hampton. With pick number 20, the Miami Heat select Tyrese Maxey. With pick number 21, the Philadelphia 76ers select Cole Anthony. With the 22nd pick, the Denver Nuggets select Aleksej Pokusevski. With the 23rd overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Tyler Bey. With the 24th pick, the Milwaukee Bucks select Malachi Flynn. With the 25th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Leandro Balmero. With the 26th pick, the Boston Celtics select Desmond Bane. So with the 27th pick, the New York Knicks select Killian Tilly. And with the 28th overall pick, the Los Angeles Lakers select Robert Woodard. With the 29th pick, the Toronto Raptors select Isaiah Joe. And to end it off with the 30th pick, the Boston Celtics select Grant Riller. So let me know if you did enjoy this mock trade. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. It was KNYT here, and I'm out. Peace.